So everyone has been talking about the Pocophone F1, and it's no surprise why. This is an absolute beast of a phone. It's a good looking phone in my opinion. It's a flagship phone. I mean, look at these specifications. Snapdragon 845, 4000 milliamp battery, 20 megapixel front camera at the front. There's a 12 and 5 at the back. You get 6 gigabytes of RAM, either 64 or 128 gigabytes of storage. There is a 256 gigabyte version as well. It's got a USB Type-C charging port, as you would expect, and it also has a headphone jack, which is something that many flagship phones can't say. Now, it can do 4K video and all that. 6.18 inch screen. Now, I've talked about this phone, so I don't want to bore you too long about specifications, but there's been a lot of videos about it, and one of the things that a lot of people are focusing on right now is the fact that this can't play HD for Netflix or Amazon Prime and a few other websites. And it's apparently because of this lack of Widevine L1 support. Apparently this phone only has Widevine L3 support. This isn't something that I'd read about before, but apparently they need this in order to play HD. And from what I've heard, you can play Amazon and Netflix content at 540p on the screen. Now, for a lot of people, that is unacceptable. If you're watching Netflix and Amazon Prime on your phone a lot, then you probably want full HD. And for some people, that's putting them off buying this phone altogether. Now, it says here that the OnePlus 5 and OnePlus 5T had the same issue a while back, and the fix required a firmware update that forced users to physically send their phones to OnePlus. It's unclear if Xiaomi would have to do the same for the Pocophone F1. My guess is that Xiaomi wouldn't do that. I'm just guessing, but I don't think they would request people to send it back. Now, I've seen some people saying that this, there could be a workaround for this, and some sort of software or firmware update, and there could be some sort of workaround with this to give you HD content with Netflix and Amazon Prime. But there's no guarantee of that. I don't know if that's actually true of this as a physical limitation. A lot of people are saying it's a hardware limitation rather than software. But let's assume it's a hardware limitation. There's absolutely no guarantee that Xiaomi would even want people to send them back for that to be updated. So my recommendation is, if you are looking at buying the Pocophone F1, and I think that anyone who is looking for a phone right now should at least look at it because it's such a bargain, then you should buy it on the understanding that it can't do HD content for Netflix or Amazon. That's the way that I would look at it. That's the way I would look at it, because here's the thing, guys. This phone was designed for the Indian market, for the Russian market, for the Chinese market, which is why, this was perhaps not an important feature for them to implement into the phone. Streaming probably isn't as popular in those countries. The bandwidth and all that, internet connections aren't as quick. And there's another thing as well, this phone doesn't, this phone, not this one, the Pocophone F1 doesn't have NFC either. So if you look at the phone, doesn't have HD content, doesn't have NFC either, then don't buy the phone. Don't buy the phone, look at something else. But for me, these aren't essential. I'm more pleased about the fact it's got a headphone jack, and I'm more pleased about the price. Now, when I heard about this Widevine support issue, I thought, oh, that's not good. And then I looked at my phone. Yes, I have Amazon Prime and all that installed, but I've never watched anything on my phone for that. So for me, it's not an essential feature. NFC as well. I was talking to my friend Mark about it. He says, I use it all the time. Whenever I go to the shops, I use my phone. I use near-field communication, and I pay for things with my phone. I've never used it. I know that NFC is a fantastic feature. I know that it can, it's useful. There's cameras and stuff like that that've got NFC as well for transferring photos and videos. And I know that it's a fantastic feature to have. This phone doesn't have it. So again, if you're buying this, understand that it doesn't have it. But for me, it's not a major problem because I've never had to use it. I've never used it. I'm not going to miss it. Yes, it'd be nice if it was there, but quite frankly, it's not a killer feature for me. I'm more happy with the fact that it's got a headphone jack, which this phone doesn't. So look at the specifications. Look at what it does have. Look at what it doesn't have. But more importantly, look at the price. Now, I've actually placed an order for one, guys. I went for the 128GB version, and I bought mine from eGlobal Central. Now, this is not the best website in the world. I'm not claiming it is. There's eGlobal Central, there's Toby Deals, and there's a few others. And a lot of these ones are based in Hong Kong, but what they do is they ship their units to an EU warehouse, and that will hopefully avoid any customs tax. You can see they've got there £269 for the £267, sorry, for the 64GB version. I paid the extra £20 and I went for the 128GB version because it means that I probably won't have to use a micro SD card. But for me, that price is just unbelievable. There's videos out there comparing this, the Pocophone F1, against the Samsung Note 9, which is like more than 3 times as expensive, and it basically holds its own. I've saw some other videos as well. I've saw someone doing like a drop test, and they dropped it from like 6 feet, and the glass didn't last. But you've dropped it from 6 feet. What do you expect? You know, I'll be putting the phone in a case. I'll be looking after it. But again, you can't talk about this phone without talking about the price. You can't talk about this phone without talking about the price. Doesn't have NFC. Looks like it's not going to support HD content. But this phone is crazy cheap. It is so cheap, it's ridiculous. It is half the price of some flagships and a third the cost of many other ones. And underneath, you compare this to a Samsung Note 9 or the upcoming Google Pixel or whatever. You know, it's going to have the same internals. So you can compare that to a Samsung S9, S9 Plus and all that. But underneath, it's the same CPU, it's the same GPU, it's the same internals. Granted, I know that Samsung use a different chipset in certain regions. But yeah, be aware that the F1, the Pocophone F1 doesn't have this Widevine L1 support, and it doesn't have NFC. If that's important to you, don't buy it. But for me, in this price range, price trumps all of that. These are not features that are essential to me. I'm more happy about the fact it's got 6GB of RAM and a headphone jack and a 4000 mAh battery than anything else. At the end of the day, I'm buying a phone here that is half the cost as many other phones. I paid £600 for this. That phone is more powerful and it's less than half the cost. You really can't argue that. So stay tuned, guys. I'll do a video about this when it arrives. I'll do an unboxing. Hopefully there'll be no problems with it. Hopefully I won't get caught with any customs. I don't believe you have to pay any customs tax using eGlobal or Toby Deals. There's a lot of negative and positive reviews for it. A lot of people say they never use it. Some other people say they swear by it. They buy all their cameras and phones from it. Time will tell. Hopefully it won't be bad. But I ordered via PayPal, so if there's any problems, you know, I'll start a dispute. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll leave a link to this article so you can read it out. Read it yourself. There's a lot of people talking about it. There's lots of YouTube videos talking about it as well. It's not a major issue for me, if I'm honest. Might matter to you, though. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll speak to you all in the next one. Take care.